on, guys? It's Steve. We are doing the 2016-17 Los Angeles Clippers. In the comment section below, let me know who you guys would like to see for tomorrow's episodes. Anyway, I'm just going to name the roster for you guys. Then we're going to go through, talk about rotations, talk about production and things like that. Talk about why I think this player will help and etc., etc. So first of all, let's just go ahead and name the players that I think will get minutes. Darrell Wright, Maurice Spates, Austin Rivers, J.J. Redick, Chris Paul, Paul Pierce, Luke Mbamute, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Raymond Felton, Jamal Crawford, and Brandon Bass. Now, if you think about that, that's actually a really, really deep bench. If you think about it, their starting lineup will most likely be Chris Paul, J.J. Redick. I don't know. This is where it gets tough because I know Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan are going to start, but does that mean Paul Pierce is going to be starting? Probably. So let's say that's their starting lineup. Again, that's a really good starting lineup. I would say it's top 10 in terms of rosters in the NBA in terms of a starting lineup. I mean, when you have Chris Paul and Blake Griffin on the same team, it's going to be top 10. Then you also have the veteran experience in Paul Pierce. And then on top of that, you have DeAndre Jordan doing what he's doing defensively. So that's good. So overall, just a great starting lineup. Now let's talk about their bench. Luke Mbamute, you got Raymond Felton, Jamal Crawford, you have Austin Rivers, Maurice Spates, and Darrell Wright. Now I don't think Darrell Wright is going to get that many minutes in this regular season. I think he will get minutes, not much, but I would say usually in just garbage time he'd probably come in. So for the most part, that's because he's been around for a while. If it's the Darrell Wright that I'm thinking of, it might be a different Darrell Wright because there's been a few Darrell Wrights in NBA history. But if it's the Darrell Wright that I've been thinking of, the guy that's been with Dwyane Wade in Miami for like the past 10 years, if it's that Darrell Wright, then, I predict, he's probably just going to play in garbage time. But he's also a shooter that can spread the floor, a bigger dude. Give them some size on the defensive end, but he can also spread the floor. So that's a good thing. Maurice Spates. Let's talk about Maurice Spates' production and rotation-wise. Rotation-wise, I predict maybe 15 to 20 minutes per game. He's actually a pretty solid defender and rebounder, and he can actually explode on offense, which is good. And in his recent years, you have seen that he's developed his jump shot, which is extraordinary. To have so many big men, it's crazy to see the league develop into what it is now. To see like these big men that used to be just low post bangers and just rebounders and defenders developing a jump shot. Now, if only DeAndre Jordan could do it. If DeAndre Jordan could develop a jump shot, that guy would be elite level. Why? Because he's athletic. He's a great defender. He's a shot blocker. And if he had the jump shot to go along with it, I'm not saying he would be an NBA superstar, but I'm saying his production and him helping the team win would be so extraordinarily much better. And the reason why is, if you have someone that cannot even hit a freaking free throw, and this is why I said he was not worth the money that they gave him. I don't remember the exact number that they gave him. But if you have someone that cannot hit a free throw and you have to take him out the game, and he's so important to your low post defense, your interior defense, he's so important to that, and then plus he can give you 10 plus points per game off of pick and roll lobs. If you have to bench someone like that and you're willing to pay them upwards of $70+ million, go somewhere else, because I don't want you on my team. I wouldn't want you on the New York Knicks. How the hell would I want you on my team and we have to take you out in the fourth quarter? Why? You know what I'm saying? He's been in the league for almost 5 years now. Probably longer than that. 4 or 5 years now. I think he was drafted in 2011. He's been in the league for around 4 to 5 years, and he still hasn't improved his free throw shooting. Now, there's no excuses for it because he isn't Shaquille O'Neal. He's not dominant like Shaq. Yeah, Shaq, there was an excuse because the dude was averaging 30 and 13 at points in his career. Post-prime, if you take away Shaq's post-prime stats, he'd probably be averaging around 27 and 13 for his career, which is absolutely ridiculous for a big man. 27 and 13 for a big man. Name me another big man that has done that, besides Will Chamberlain, which is ridiculous, because his numbers were just absolutely ridiculous. But you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So it doesn't make sense, man, that they would pay him that much money. You've been in the league, man. Just develop your jump shot. That, in my opinion, shows that you just don't care about your team. You just don't care about your team. Because if you did care, you would develop that jump shot. Now let's move on to Blake Griffin, and you're going to see why I want to move on to Blake Griffin right away. Blake Griffin worked with Carmelo Anthony in the 2012 NBA Olympics. You don't believe me? The NBA even uploaded a video on it on their YouTube channel. But so Blake Griffin worked with Carmelo Anthony in the 2012 Olympics to try and get a better all-around offensive game. And you know what happened? Blake Griffin's jump shot improved, his size-up game improved, his face-up game improved, his post-up game improved, and now he's one of the best offensive players in the NBA. And you know why? Obviously because of hard work throughout his life, but because he worked with Carmelo Anthony. Chris Paul was there too. Chris Paul was like, you better listen to this guy. You better listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about. And look at him now. You see? So that's why, players like freaking DeAndre Jordan and Dwight Howard. We're going to get to Dwight Howard in another video, but just real quick. Like, Dwight Howard has so much freaking potential. He's had offers to work with Kareem, Hakeem, The Dream, all of these legends. But what does he do? He goofs around in China. He doesn't care, man. Like, same thing with DeAndre, dog. And then, here's the thing with Blake Griffin. Great young talent, but you know what's holding him back? His attitude. How are you going to punch someone in the face midway through the season knowing either way, because that person was a trainer for the Los Angeles Clippers, so either way, he was either going to get suspended, fined, and benched, suspended by the league, and then suspended by the team, and then benched and fined, or you're going to injure yourself and the other person. And what did he do? He injured himself, the other person, he got suspended, he got fined. He got all of the above. That shows you just don't care about your team. Do you think Chris Paul would do that? Do you think Chris Paul would do that? Do you think LeBron would do that? Do you think Stephen Curry would do that? Do you think Carmelo would do that? Do you think Kevin Durant would do that? No, they wouldn't. That's what separates potential from true stars. He has so much potential. And it's sad that, it's being held back by his attitude. It's the same thing with DeMarcus Cousins. But let's move on. So JJ Redick is a solid piece to have around Chris Paul and Blake Griffin. And here's the reason why. When you have Chris Paul on the floor, you need shooters. Because if it's all big men or people that like to bang down low, the offense is not going to work. Why? Because Chris Paul is extremely ball dominant. He is the definition of a floor general. The only other time anyone ever touches the ball is if they are within, they're gathering steps to shoot a shot. Or within, to catch and shoot. Other than that, the ball is in Chris Paul's hand. Unless Jamal Crawford's in the game while Chris Paul's on the bench, it's in Chris Paul's hands while he's on the floor. You either pick and roll, pick and go, pick and pop, back screens, curls, whatever it is, backdoor screens, whatever it is. It's in Chris Paul's hand. It's in his hands. And he's going to kick it out to the open shooter or to the high flyers in Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. Now that Blake Griffin developed, his offensive game, and now that, hopefully he's learned from his mistakes, I'll say I want him to average 25, 10, and 5 because he does have the potential to do that. And in terms of numbers for Chris Paul, we can obviously expect the same that he's been doing for his entire career. Anywhere from 18 to 20 points per game, 9 to 11 assists per game. My prediction, personally, I would say around 19 points per game and 10 assists per game. That's pretty much his career averages. I think it's like 18 and 10 for his career, but anywhere from 19, I would say 19 points per game, 10 assists per game. Again, I want to see Blake Griffin 25, 10, and 5. If he can do that, he will take that next step, and then maybe the Los Angeles Clippers will be contenders. But if you guys want to talk about the Clippers being contenders, go check out the previous video from earlier today. Anyway, let's continue to move on. So Raymond Felton is actually a really good pickup for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, he is not the best backup point guard, but he does give the Clippers more depth on their bench and makes them more flexible. Not only that, but it also allows them, well, let me talk about the flexibility for a second. It allows them to be able to have different offensive and defensive stats and adjust to the opponent. Let's say, for example, you have, let's say you're playing the Houston Rockets, right? You have let's say they're playing the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors decide to go small, right? The death lineup. Now it's even deadlier because Kevin Durant. So let's say they go with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, moving screen, and I don't know, Anderson Varejao or someone, right? Let's say they go with that small death lineup, right? Or Leandro Barbosa or someone, right? Let's say they go with that lineup, and the Los Angeles Clippers are playing them. Do you think it would be the smartest idea to put Jamal Crawford on Klay Thompson? No. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you can have those heavier guards come in Raymond Felton, who's actually a solid defender. I'm not saying he's a better defender than Jamal Crawford. I'm not saying he isn't. But all I'm saying is he has the size and the weight to put a body on Klay Thompson. And this allows flexibility, which means that means your opponent's going to have to adjust their game, which means you can continue to adjust yours. You know what I'm saying? So in other words, the opponent's always adjusting to you. You're not always adjusting to the opponent. You know, it's tricky, complex, but hopefully I explained that properly, but most likely I didn't because sometimes I sound like an idiot. But anyway, so Austin Rivers, again, another guard to come off the bench. So their backcourt flexibility is top tier. It is probably one of the most flexible backcourts in the NBA. Plus, you have one of the best point guards in NBA history on your team. Plus, you have one of the best six-man ever in Jamal Crawford. And you also have J.J. Redick, Austin Rivers. And then you also have Raymond Felton, which allows so much flexibility for the I almost said the Golden State Warriors, for the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, let's talk about their front court. Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan. So when they take DeAndre Jordan out, they can go small ball. They can bring in Darrell Wright, and they can have Paul Pierce and Blake Griffin. So it could be Paul Pierce at the 3 spot, Blake Griffin at the 4, and Darrell Wright. Actually, no, Darrell Wright at the 4, and Blake Griffin at the 5. Or they can bring in Maurice Spates, but that creates spacing issues. And this is the biggest problem with the Los Angeles Clippers is their spacing, especially in their front court. They don't have a lot of space. And the reason isn't because of Blake Griffin, it's because of DeAndre Jordan. But overall, they are a solid team. I predict maybe 52 wins, so 52-30. It will be a great season. Hopefully nothing stupid happens, no injuries happen, no one punches people in the face, none of that crap happens. But overall, man, they're a solid team, and I cannot wait to see them in action and see what they can do in that Western Conference against the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs, because let's be real, those are the only true contenders in the West. So anyway, it's been Steve. Again, let me know which team you would like to see next for tomorrow's videos in the comment section below for this countdown to the NBA season. This was Steve with his 2016-2017 NBA breakdown analysis. I'm the king, man. Let me stop. I'm just kidding. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I love you guys. Peace.